One of the most powerful laws of reality, one that has the ability to completely reshape our lives on a deep level, is known as the mirror principle. This kind of transformation does not depend on a special method or an external strategy that demands constant action. Instead, this principle is directly connected to the person you are choosing to become. For instance, if your goal is to become a millionaire, the deeper truth is that you must first embody the identity of a millionaire internally before it can appear in your external world. Otherwise, you'll continue moving from one situation to another, assuming the problem exists somewhere outside of you. The first lesson of this principle is simple yet profound. If nothing changes within you, nothing around you will change either. This is the core foundation of the mirror principle. When this principle is truly mastered, everything you engage with begins to flourish. However, this mastery requires you to face your inner shadows, your personal fears, an aspect of yourself you may not want to acknowledge. If you are genuinely prepared for meaningful transformation, then this video is meant for you. In this video, I will also share a vital exercise that I continue to practice to this day. Together, we will break down this principle and explore how it can truly alter your life. Reality functions as a mirror, reflecting your relationship with yourself, with the world, and with existence itself. Your inner state mirrored in your outer experience. What does this really mean? Let's return to the example of wealth. If your inner relationship with money is built on the belief that you are incapable, that you are bad at creating wealth, the mirror of reality simply agrees. It responds by offering more evidence that supports your belief, reinforcing the idea that you cannot succeed financially. As a result, life presents situations that validate the story you keep telling yourself. This is why it is essential to remember this key truth. The external world is nothing more than a reflection shaped by your internal image. In other words, what you experience outwardly is born from your inner world. When we observe society closely, it becomes clear that many people are deeply absorbed in external chaos, technology, social media, and the constant noise of daily demands. In this distraction, the connection to inner wisdom has weakened, and the deeper essence we once understood has been forgotten. This is why we must now explore the 4 keys that allow you to consciously shape reality in alignment with your desires. When studying the law of attraction, one idea appears repeatedly. Reality behaves like a mirror, yet most people attempt to control the reflection rather than the source. The first fundamental key of the mirror principle is recognizing that reality reflects 2 things: your relationship with yourself and your relationship with the world. Simply put, what appears in your reality is a projection of how you perceive yourself and how you interpret life. If you internally believe that you are not enough, the mirror echoes that belief back to you. It reinforces the message: you are not capable, you are not worthy, and here is proof to support that claim. Reality reflects the messages you continuously send. In many ways, the mirror of reality acts like a faithful companion, always affirming what you already believe. Instead of trying to force change in reflection, we must shift the image we present to the mirror. This is similar to influencing another person. When we directly command someone not to act in a certain way, resistance often increases. But when we inspire them, offering understanding, motivation, and clear reasons, their willingness to change grows. In the same way, our task is to influence reality indirectly. The mirror of reality amplifies what you hold to be true, especially regarding your identity and your view of the world. Remember this carefully, because it is one of the most important keys. Now the real question becomes, how do we change this? How do we break this repeating cycle and consciously decide what it is you truly want? You must intentionally build your own identity and worldview, your personal paradigm. Let me offer an example to clarify how this identity is formed. First, it is vital to gain clarity about your long-term vision, perhaps 10 years into the future. In that final image, ask yourself, what is an activity you see yourself engaging in every single day? What do you possess that turns your life into an ongoing journey of growth and exploration? Then reflect deeply and ask, who am I being in that reality? What qualities, traits, and characteristics define me when I am already having, doing, and living all of this? This step is absolutely essential. Next, examine your worldview. How do you perceive life when you are fully living this reality? How does the world appear to you while experiencing these outcomes. Take a moment now to activate powerful affirmations. Begin by creating affirmations that define your identity, how you view yourself. For example, statements such as, "I am deserving," "I naturally attract abundance," "because within me lives the transformative power of an alchemist." Then craft affirmations that reflect your perception of the world, such as, "The universe supports me, everything unfolds at the perfect moment, and all events align with a greater divine order." As you commit to repeating these affirmations daily and allowing them to sink deeply into your subconscious, prepare yourself to witness a remarkable shift. Your perception of reality and your interpretation of the world will start transforming right before you. Even if what you desire feels unreachable today, it does not mean it will remain so tomorrow. Everything unfolds through time, consistency, and patience. Honor your personal timeline, but do not allow fear to limit what you are capable of creating. Make sure you dedicate time to this exercise, because it carries the potential to completely redefine your life. Now, let us move on to the second key. It is important to understand that the reflection we experience in the physical world occurs with delay. Why does this happen? In your inner world, you can generate an image instantly, simply by closing your eyes and imagining what you want. That is the nature of this inner dimension. However, in the third dimension, the physical realm, manifestation requires time. Matter is dense and operates according to natural laws, which prevents instant materialization. This leads us to the next essential principle. You must maintain the belief you have created long enough for it to take form. In practice, this means remaining loyal to the identity and worldview you have chosen until your desire becomes visible. Whatever you wish to become, begin by assuming the identity of someone who already embodies it. Ask yourself how that version of you would think, act, and respond, and stay aligned with that identity consistently. An interesting pattern often appears when people begin this process. They experience emotional highs and lows. They establish a belief in an identity, expecting immediate results, but when outcomes do not appear right away, their emotional state declines along with their belief. Then, just as their mood reaches its lowest point, the manifestation suddenly shows up. However, due to the delay, what appears begins reflecting the earlier negative emotional state, causing the situation to deteriorate once again. This creates a wave-like cycle in life, ups followed by downs, repeating continuously. While these fluctuations are inevitable, the true key lies in remaining committed to the identity and worldview you have chosen. This consistency is the most powerful way to initiate lasting change. Now, let us move on to the next key, one that I consider deeply transformative and that I practice daily. You must understand that the mirror of reality does not reflect the surface of your thoughts, but rather their purified content. Let me clarify this. Consider moments when you express dissatisfaction. Behind that dissatisfaction lies a specific message, such as disliking your job, resenting your boss, feeling frustrated with your partner, or being overwhelmed by financial obligations. The mirror does not reflect the emotion of hatred itself, but instead mirrors the exact content behind that emotion. For example, I hate the bills, and as a result, more bills appear. I hate my job, and new situations emerge that deepen your dissatisfaction with work. This is precisely how the process unfolds. The more you complain about what you lack and what you do not want, the more these conditions are mirrored back into your life, providing additional evidence that supports your existing worldview and identity. This is the essential distinction between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. It is simply the difference between seeing the glass as half full instead of half empty. The key to applying this principle in your own life is straightforward. Focus on what you desire and on what you already possess. If you want real change to occur, you must begin by acknowledging what you have right now. Everything you own, every step forward you have taken, the family you cherish, and the things that already bring value into your life. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do I truly want? What would transform my life into a genuine journey of discovery? What would that look like, and how would it feel? The image does not need to be perfectly clear. It can remain abstract as long as your attention stays fixed on what you want. When you consistently focus on your desired outcome, the distance between your current reality and your envisioned life begins to shrink. This happens because you naturally start expanding beyond the limits of your comfort zone. This brings us to key number 3. Now let us move on to key number 4, the final and perhaps most transformative principle, the mirror cycle. This concept has the power to alter everything permanently. Once you learn how to work with this mirror cycle consciously, uncertainty fades, and you begin to witness reality reshaping itself before your eyes. It all begins with observation. Consider the attitudes you held in the past, the complaints, the negative experiences, and the unconscious decisions that were made. These past patterns are what have shaped your present moment. When you observe your current situation, such as unpaid bills or a job you dislike, you use this observation to form an internal image. By image, I mean the inner attitude, thoughts, and emotions you present to the mirror of reality. Once the image is formed, the mirror has no option but to reflect it. Reality then reorganizes itself according to that reflection. What usually happens, however, is that people look at the reflection again and become trapped in this repeating loop. This cycle is addictive, and many find themselves stuck within it. They observe, react, and remain confined to the same pattern, eventually thinking, why does this keep happening to me? They try new tactics, new strategies, even new businesses, but nothing produces lasting change. It may work temporarily and create excitement, but eventually they fall back into the same cycle. This happens because there has been no true internal shift. What I want you to understand is this. Without a fundamental change in identity and worldview, nothing truly changes. To break free, the process must be reversed. Most people follow this sequence: observation, then image, then reflection. This is a default cycle, the one followed unconsciously. But if you want to become a conscious co-creator of your reality, you must invert this order. I say this from personal experience. For many years, I lived inside this loop, but once I truly understood it, everything shifted. To break the cycle, we begin with the image we choose to embody. We turn away from the reflection and stop focusing on current circumstances, recognizing that what surrounds us today is simply the result of past decisions. Without this realization, change is impossible. If I want to shape tomorrow, I must choose consciously today. We begin with the image, declaring what we want and acknowledging what we already have. The mirror then has no choice but to respond, initially in small, subtle ways. Gradually, change begins to appear, even if delayed. What do we do next? Instead of observing passively, we confirm actively. We look into the mirror not to judge, but to notice what is working. When something aligns, we acknowledge it. That worked. That shifted. If confidence is your goal, you'll start noticing that people respond to you differently. If you aim to improve your work or business, you will observe small improvements emerging. Even if parts of your life seem unstable, you focus only on what confirms the identity and worldview you have chosen. The practice is consistency. The more you persist, the more reality reshapes itself into something greater than you ever imagined. If you begin applying these principles, your life will change completely. This is real. I have lived it. At the beginning of my spiritual journey, I dismissed these ideas as unrealistic. But when the result appeared, they were undeniable. Things I desired began flowing toward me, often exceeding my expectations. As we explore the mirror of reality more deeply, we uncover a hidden inner power that is often ignored. What we experience externally is merely an echo of our beliefs, identity, and worldview. The true secret of transformation lies not in observing reality, but in shaping destiny through the image of who we choose to become and what we choose to create. As this new image forms, the mirror responds through gradual changes, slowly restructuring itself. The mirror of reality has no limitations. It responds only to what we present to it. Like an alchemist transforming lead into gold, we can transmute our lives by embracing abundance and focusing on what we have and what we desire. Ultimately, the journey to the mirror of reality is a quest for inner truth and a celebration of our creative power. To build, to evolve, and to transcend, I hope this wisdom becomes a guiding flame on your path, helping you create the life you envision. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel, share this video so others may benefit, and leave a comment below with your reflections and experiences. Thank you again for watching and for being here. Take care, and I will see you soon.